It was a chilly autumn evening when Sarah Mitchell, a 32-year-old woman with a heart full of dreams and a loving family by her side, vanished without a trace. She had been living a content life in the quiet town of Willowbrook with her husband, Mark, and their 2 children, Emily and Ethan. Sarah was the backbone of the Mitchell family, a beacon of strength and warmth that held them together. On that fateful day, Sarah had dropped Emily and Ethan off at their school like any other morning. She had kissed them goodbye, promising to be back in the evening for family dinner. But when evening came, and Sarah hadn't returned, Mark's worry began to escalate. Mark called Sarah's phone repeatedly, growing more anxious with each unanswered call. He contacted the school, but they had no information on her whereabouts. Panic began to set in as he dialed the Willowbrook Police Department, reporting his wife as missing. As days turned into weeks, the Willowbrook community rallied together in a desperate search for Sarah. Posters with her smiling face were plastered across town, and volunteers combed through nearby woods and parks. Mark and the children held on to hope that Sarah would return home soon, safe and sound. Detective Helen Reynolds was assigned to the case. With her keen investigative skills and a reputation for solving the toughest mysteries, she was determined to find out what had happened to Sarah Mitchell. She started by interviewing Sarah's closest friends and family members, hoping to uncover any clues or leads. The more Detective Reynolds delved into Sarah's life, the more puzzling it became. Sarah had no known enemies, no secrets, and no reason to disappear willingly. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. The detective's frustration grew as the days turned into weeks and then months. Mark Mitchell's life began to unravel without Sarah. He struggled to hold down his job and care for Emily and Ethan while keeping their hope alive. Every night, he would tuck them into bed and reassure them that their mother would return soon. But as time passed, even his optimism began to wane. One night, as Mark lay awake in the dimly lit living room, he noticed something odd. A family portrait on the wall seemed slightly crooked. He got up and straightened it, but something about it felt off. It was then that he realized Sarah's face had been scratched out. Panic surged through him as he frantically searched for more clues, but he found nothing else amiss. The next morning, Mark contacted Detective Reynolds and told her about the defaced portrait. She arrived promptly and took a close look at it. The detective grew suspicious, wondering if this was the work of a vandal or a message left behind. Detective Reynolds expanded her investigation to include Sarah's close friends and acquaintances. Among them was Jennifer Lawson, Sarah's childhood friend, who lived in Willowbrook as well. Jennifer had always admired Sarah's life, her loving family, beautiful home, and the stability that she had built. Jennifer's life, in contrast, had been one of turmoil and instability. She had struggled with relationships and financial hardships, often feeling overshadowed by her friend's seemingly perfect existence. Detective Reynolds couldn't help but wonder if Jennifer's jealousy had led to Sarah's disappearance. As Jennifer was questioned, she appeared genuinely shocked and heartbroken over Sarah's disappearance. She denied any involvement and provided an alibi that checked out. Detective Reynolds had no choice but to continue her search for answers elsewhere. Months turned into a year, and hope of finding Sarah Mitchell was fading. The community's attention shifted to other pressing matters, but Mark refused to give up. He couldn't accept that his wife had vanished without a trace. One evening, Mark received an anonymous email with an attached video. He watched in astonishment as the video revealed a woman who bore a striking resemblance to Sarah, living in a different town and going by a different name, Alexandra. She appeared happy and content, with no signs of distress or captivity. Mark couldn't believe his eyes. He shared the video with Detective Reynolds, who immediately recognized the woman as Jennifer Lawson. It seemed that Jennifer had taken on Sarah's identity, but why? And where was the real Sarah? Detective Reynolds wasted no time in tracking down Jennifer Lawson, now living as Alexandra. Jennifer claimed that she had suffered a breakdown and assumed Sarah's identity to escape her troubled life. She insisted that she had no knowledge of Sarah's whereabouts. As Detective Reynolds dug deeper, she discovered a tangled web of deception. Jennifer had forged documents, including a driver's license and social security card, to assume Sarah's identity successfully. But the detective couldn't shake the feeling that Jennifer was still hiding something. Desperate for answers and closure, Mark confronted Jennifer, now Alexandra, with the hope that she might lead him to the real Sarah. At first, Jennifer adamantly denied any involvement in Sarah's disappearance, claiming amnesia regarding her life as Jennifer. But as Mark shared memories and personal details, Jennifer's facade began to crumble. Tears welled up in Jennifer's eyes as she confessed to her actions. She had grown envious of Sarah's life, feeling trapped in her own struggles. Jennifer had concocted a plan to assume Sarah's identity, hoping to start anew. She had drugged Sarah on the day of her disappearance, making it look like Sarah had vanished voluntarily. With Jennifer's help, Mark and Detective Reynolds located Sarah, who had been held captive in an isolated cabin in the woods for over a year. She had been subjected to physical and emotional abuse, her captor keeping her hidden from the world. Sarah was frail and traumatized, but she was alive. Sarah's return marked the end of a long and harrowing ordeal for the Mitchell family. It was a bittersweet reunion as Emily, Ethan, and Mark embraced their beloved wife and mother, who had been missing for so long. Jennifer Lawson faced the consequences of her actions and was prosecuted for her role in Sarah's disappearance. She expressed remorse for the pain she had caused and was sentenced to a lengthy prison term. As the Mitchell family worked to rebuild their lives, they found strength in their love for each other. Sarah's resilience inspired them all, and they grew closer than ever before. The scars of their past would never fully heal, but they were determined to move forward together. The Mitchell family, once torn apart by tragedy, began a new chapter in their lives. Sarah's return served as a reminder of the importance of family and the enduring power of love. They moved away from Willowbrook, seeking a fresh start in a place where they could leave their painful memories behind. The small town of Willowbrook was left with the memory of a woman who had vanished without a trace and the remarkable story of her return. It was a cautionary tale of envy and desperation, but also a testament to the unwavering bond of family. And so, the Mitchell family embarked on their journey towards healing, cherishing every moment together, and vowing never to take their happiness for granted again.